And now, live from Pod Cabin in Burbank, California, it's the Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend show. Tonight, Alison welcomes a guest. He's a writer, producer, director from such shows as The Daily Show and Full Frontal with Samantha Bee. It's Miles Kahn. And he's a comedian whose generosity of spirit and overall positive attitude is fueled and in many ways inspired by a metric fuck ton of cocaine. It's Josh Gondelman. Tone Zone is here to show us how he preps for the show by slathering his entire body with baby oil. And her husband Daniel saying hop on board the love bus and say hello to your new best friend, Alison Rose.
Alison Rosen is your new best friend. Alison, with her the good times never end. Alison Rosen, doing the wavy pencil dance again. Alison's your new best friend.
Hello, my little peanut butter blossoms. Welcome to another exciting episode of Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend. That particular carbohydrate was sent in on Patreon. By Danielle Fort. In case you're wondering what a peanut butter blossom is, it is one of those cookies. It's like a peanut butter cookie, and it has a Hershey's Kiss in the top. And Jenna Kim Jones, former regular on the show and someone that was bequeathed to me by one of today's guests, we'll get into that, makes those cookies, gives them out during the holidays. That's right. And yes, I am on Patreon. All sorts of fun stuff, all sorts of different reward levels. You can get bonus episodes of my Patreon bonus podcast, The Friend Zone. It is juicy. It is gossipy. It is behind the scenesy. We answer your questions. Everyone that you love on the show has been a guest. And other people too. No, mostly people that you love on the show. And then also there's like Ask Me Anythings. Nothing off limits. And even stuff you don't want to know is there too. I really know how to sell it. And then there's a level where you can text me and I'll text you back. You can see videos of the Thursday show. In fact, right now, if people are rolling their eyes, you could be seeing that right now. And if you subscribe for a year, you get 2 months free.
That's a good deal.
Very excited to welcome my guest to the show, Josh Gondelman. Hello.
Hello. Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. People who subscribe to the Patreon tier with the video will see me like really grooving to the theme song.
I couldn't help but notice when Daniel mentioned the cocaine, speaking of rolling eyes, are you trying to get away from that? It's been plaguing you for years.
You don't want people to know about that?
Wildly untrue is the whole thing about it. That's the only thing. I didn't know where it was going, and then I was like, of course, there it is. So I did roll my eyes.
Yeah. I mean...
That's what I go for with every joke, is a nice, healthy eye roll.
I couldn't tell the eyes were rolling because they were so dilated from cocaine.
Okay, see, these are the kinds of things that people get the wrong idea. I think it's going to hit a tipping point if it hasn't already, because this is a Matt Koff bit that was then adopted by Paul F. Tompkins, who started a change.org petition to get me to do cocaine, which immediately got 1,000 signatures and then was taken down because you're not allowed to do that. And so there have been these rumors that I'm an outrageous, rampant cocaine user. Untrue. But now we're getting to the point, I think, where that might be the only reason someone has heard of me. And that is, that's going to be a problem in my life. I can feel it coming.
Have you considered maybe just starting to do cocaine? Because why not at this point?
I mean, the reasons that I'm not doing it are not reputational. That's not the main thing holding me back from a life of rampant nose drug usage.
What is the main thing? And I'm not arguing for it.
Right. I understand. I think that's a fair question. I mean, I have trouble, like, I'm not, when I eat ice cream, I have trouble knowing my limits. So I feel like a stimulant of that caliber, I wouldn't moderate well.
Yes. I think that's smart.
Thank you.
There's no reason for it.
I don't think there's a lot of reason for me to start doing cocaine at this point in my life.
Especially not now with rainbow fentanyl.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
well, I got so much of that on Halloween. I didn't even know what to do with it. I just gave it to the kids in my building. Yeah.
I would also like to say hello and welcome to the show, Miles Kahn. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
A vintage guest. You had been an in-person guest on Alison Rosen is Your New Best Friend, the live streaming internet version in my apartment in Brooklyn. You have a secret talent, haircutting, and you gave me a haircut live on the show.
Yep.
And I went back, and we'll get into this, and I was looking at emails, and there were like tons of viewers of that episode because Ustream put us on the front show after Ashton Kutcher's something or other. So
I didn't realize. So we had like a good lead in.
we had 22,000 viewers of the haircut.
That's wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy.
That's
I know.
impressive.
I know. Do you still do haircuts?
I do my own hair.
Okay.
My wife won't let me cut her hair, and it was a thing I did in college for beer. It was like a talent I just sort of taught myself, and I was the guy in the dorm who could cut hair, and it was like a 6-pack of haircut, and it was just a handy little thing. And I haven't been to a barber or a salon since I'm like 16. I've just always cut my own hair.
And your hair looks good. You've got good hair.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You know what? I better be good at it because I've been doing it for 30 freaking years.
I'm sure this came up
Yeah.
50 years ago or however, whenever that was. It was 2009. But how did you teach yourself?
I remember I went to like a salon. It was called Lords and Ladies. By the way. just remembering this. Lords and Ladies hair salon. And I was growing my hair out at the time. I was like 15 or 16, and I had like kind of like a Prince Valiant haircut, and it looked really silly on me. Because it was very thick and I didn't know what to do with it. So it's just big, boofy, thick, bouffant hair. And the hairdresser was like, "Oh no, it looks great. It's really coming along awesome." And then I heard her talk to my mom when I was in the other room. It's just like, he should really cut it. It's really bad. And I was like, I no longer trusted anyone around my hair. And I was like, you know what? I've watched this woman do her work. I don't think it's that freaking hard. I'm going to figure this thing out. And so I just kind of like experimented and figured it out and found a system.
Wow.
Because you had
It's not that hard and not that good a story.
now a Prince Valiant.
intrigued. Yeah.
Wait, I'm forgetting what Prince Valiant hair is. Is it
It's like shoulder
straight
length.
across? Okay.
No, it's like shoulder length, and it just looked goofy on me. I was just like real goofy.
I think, Allison, are you thinking of a Caesar?
no,
Those little straight across bangs?
No, I know what a Caesar is. I'm thinking of something that like the dolls in or the marionettes in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood had. I'm thinking of like something that little Lego figures would just snap on, like straight across bangs, and then like a male, like a Buster Brown haircut, like sort of like a bob, like shoulder length on the
Buster
sides.
Brown.
And then then straight across bangs.
Allison, I have a question for you. I can't recall how I convinced you to do that or why. Do you remember any of that?
I think I did. I think I needed a trim.
Okay.
And I think it came up that you trimmed hair or that you were good at hair. And I think I was young and I was hungry for content. And I was a little more experimental with my show, a little more open format wise. So I think I was just like, yeah, you should do that on my show. And that's how that happened.
And how did I do?
You did well.
Okay,
it was a
good.
really good haircut. Yeah.
All right,
and
good.
what I remember though is I know that I know there was a question of like, do you cut better wet or dry? And I think that you had a spray bottle. I know you brought over professional shears.
Yes.
And then I had this big, and I still have it, a big, heavy mirror. And you went and you brought over this big, like we're talking, I'm like bad at estimating. I don't know, like a 3x4 or 4x5. No, probably like a 3x4 mirror. Like a wrought iron mirror, and you like went and brought over this wrought iron mirror to like hold up so I could see the back in the webcam, and it was funny. So yeah, that was that, and I probably it exists somewhere, the videotape of this.
Well, hopefully. You want to save something like that forever.
for posterity.
Yeah,
exactly. So we'll get into even more of that. Daniel Quantz, hello. How's it going?
Oh, hi. Hey, thank you. What's happening,
Hello.
everybody?
How goes it?
Yeah. Going all right. You know, we're fully in the Christmas spirit over here in the house.
Each child
Hello from
has
in the house.
Yeah, I'm outside. I'm out of the house in the studio. Daniel's in the house. Each of our children has 3 advent calendars. Our son Elliot
and it was like a whole.
It's a whole thing.
They'll never
It's
forget
a
what
whole
day it is till next month.
Yeah,
No, well-
except that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the littlest one, not the littlest advent calendar, but the littlest child. He has he has like a Kinder chocolate, like a Kinder egg. Well, it's not the eggs, but and he's not okay with just the one a day. And so this has been a fight. Now I happen to have, by accident, you know, with Amazon, sometimes you'll buy a thing and then it turns out to be two of it.
Sure.
It's like a 2-pack, but you didn't realize. So I bought 2, but they were 2-packs. So I got 2 extras. And so I was like, okay.
So it's
you
chaos
guys can have-
advent wise.
So it's like, you know, you go, okay, you can have 1 a day. And then after some protesting, it's like, all right, well, maybe you can each have 2 because I have 2. So you can each have 2 a day. But once you have,
Once you break the seal.
gone against the rule, now it's game on. And he just wants them all. And our poor nanny was just being bullied by him until she gave in and gave him more. And I was just like, fine, let him have as many as he wants, because then he'll just not have any when Elliot has 1, and he'll learn that he's not supposed to do that. But anyway, is this a good story? I don't know. We'll cut it out.
It is
it's
kind
not
of
the
the
best.
lowest stakes way to time travel, right? It's just going forward in the advent calendar.
Yeah. It's very low stakes and very low reward, because at the end, you're not getting Christmas.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
So Santa's
Tony.
coming when he comes.
And by the way, I don't even morally agree with this, but we have dipped into like, this is the time of year that Santa's watching, and it doesn't even work.
We had not used that, and then I got to keep my voice down because
Oh,
they
yeah.
can hear me in the other room. But
do you
I
want,
fully
do you want to
deployed
say it
the other
quietly and
day.
I'll say it loudly? Because they can't hear me.
Okay.
This is great
Or
for
maybe
a
I
podcast.
could
This is terrible.
text it to you, and you could read it out loud. You could transcribe.
There
is
is a
not-
lot of
it's not-
subterfuge going on at your home.
It's so bad. It's not going to be worth it.
Here, I'm gonna talk in code. Basically, let's just say I used it in order to get some behavior.
Did it work
Desirable
though?
behavior.
Some
No,
compliance.
not really. Like for like a minute.
Yeah. That's kind of what I
It
had
doesn't
said
really
earlier.
work.
All right, great. Patreon.com to
Let
see
me know when you
Daniel's
need me.
expression. All right, thank you. Hello, Tony Thaxton. How's it going?
Hey, it's going all right. Feeling good with it's full Christmas over here too, and then you got to bring me down by putting us back on Zoom instead of in person.
I'm sorry. Our wonderful guests today are not in the SoCal area.
I know. I'm not blaming you guys. I'm only blaming Allison.
I blame me.
Miles, are you in New York or are you in Vermont?
I'm in Vermont,
Okay.
where I will be until the end of winter if I have it my way.
Got it.
Yes.
So Tony and I just everyone, please listen to the Monday episode with Anthony Bowens, who is one half of the Acclaimed. Josh and Miles, I don't know if you know this. You probably, why would you? I have recently become, I'd say, like the number 1 or number 2 wrestling podcast in the nation. It's a weird direction for me, given that I'm not that into wrestling, but it's just been bestowed on me, and I have greeted
I saw
my new
you
fate with
posting
open
pictures
arms. Yeah,
with the wrestler.
it's just happened. Wrestlers have just been coming on my podcast, and I've said, okay, I'll get into wrestling. And now I'm fully into it, and I'm probably going to go pro myself.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I know it is exciting. It's weird. I didn't think it was going to happen.
Do you have a stage name? Do you have like
no.
a character yet?
Not
Great
yet.
question.
Not yet. I might just become a manager. It sort of makes more sense because here's what happened. I didn't realize this. Apparently, wrestling is very painful and kind of dangerous.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you know this?
Yeah. They're just stunt people with like fun costumes on. Yeah.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, no one would really do it if it hurt that much. Because I was like, you know, that thing that you get slammed at the ring. It's bouncy, right? So
Sure.
it can't hurt that much. It's got to be like being thrown into a big marshmallow. It can't hurt that much. And then the sound is, I don't know, obviously artificial as well. Apparently not so. Apparently it hurts a lot when you get slammed down. So that's not for me.
Didn't you see The Wrestler? Didn't you see that movie where he's
No.
like wrapped up in like barbed wire and like the amateur wrestling circuit's like literally bloody. It's really, really nasty. And I guess the stuff for TV is cleaned up, but still painful.
Well, I wouldn't do the amateurs. I mean, I'm going to go straight. I'm going to go
you're
straight
really?
to pro.
Professional.
Yeah, I'm not going to start. I'm not going to start on the amateur,
Straight
circuit.
to the top.
Straight to the top for this gal.
You're gonna start as Hulk Hogan.
Yes, that's going to be my name, Hulk Hogan. Is he still using it?
I think mostly for lawsuits and sex tapes.
Oh yeah, I don't want to be sued by Gawker. I'll be Brooke Hogan. Is she using it?
I mean, it is just her name. Well,
So then
I guess it's not her real last name. Though,
What about if you were a Hulk Rosen?
Oh, Hulk Rosen.
It's been a while since we've had any Hulk.
Right. Oh, I forgot about this actually. On Upworthy Weekly. See, we record in the morning and I forget things that happen in the morning. On Upworthy Weekly, it was determined that my name was going to be Silent but Deadly Rosen. Because I said that I didn't want something that because growing up, you know how there's a character Big Al? What was Big Al from? Fat Albert? There's people if your name is Allison,
Is this is this a wrestler or is this just a random?
just a cartoon
Or
character.
just a guy.
I'm sure there is a Big Al.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like lots of Big Owls.
There's
Yeah.
lots of, and I think I was one of them. If your name is Allison, people want to call you Al.
You're making it sound like the Dread Pirate Roberts from Princess Bride, where there's like a Big Al and then there's another Big Al.
Yes,
Wait, isn't there a character on Happy Days? Big
Al
Al?
Molinari. Here's the thing: I need all the Allisons listening to represent and to let me know, and maybe we can start a class action suit. Were you also at some point in your life called Big Al? Because if your name's Allison, they want to call you Al, and then they want to call you Big Al. And as a gal named Big Al, who
Big
was
Gal. It's short for Big Gal.
oh my God, it was as Big Gal. I was a big gal, and I didn't want to be called Big Al. As a big gal, I didn't want to be called Big Al. So anyway, when
This
it
tongue
came,
twister is intense.
I know. When it came time to get a wrestling name on Saturday morning, I forgot about this. I was like, let's go with something dainty. Not connoting or denoting, I'm forgetting, size. Like, I don't want to be Hulk. So
Okay.
hence Silent but Deadly.
Okay.
And I love fart humor anyway.
Okay.
So that's what I'm going to be. Tee-hee. Exactly.
Your finishing move could be you squat and then knock a fart into their face.
Yeah. I mean, I think now who has the what's he cooking or what's that smell or someone's already doing this, but I think I can do it better.
That's a
Smell
rock.
what the Rock is cooking.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what,
Yeah. But that's not referring to farts.
I don't
Was
think
it?
he was what he
That's
was cooking was
cuisine.
farts. No, yeah.
Maybe
Right,
it was,
so he's
though,
doing-
now that you think about it.
I mean, I
On
don't
a
know.
long enough timeline. Yeah, most
Yeah.
cuisine.
Right. So anyway, we had Anthony Bowens, whose move is he yells, "Scissor me," or people yell, "Scissor me." There's a whole scissoring thing, and they say it's a gesture of friendship. It's a whole thing. It's very popular. He was here. My whole studio got moved around because we videoed it, and now we like hastily tried to put my studio back, and everything feels a little bit wrong, and it's driving me a little nuts. Now, Miles, I remember you and your roommate had been in the Village Voice in
yeah.
like a column they had about roommates, and you talked about being very particular about clutter.
Did I?
Yes.
I don't know. I guess I'm moderate about clutter. I can't.
That
I can't.
is not how I remember it.
Really? I don't
Yeah.
remember being that like fastidious about like cleaning stuff. My wife is like in the room, so I get like, yeah, she's giving me eyes. So like she's like, no clutter. No, you're. I'm not that. Maybe I've changed. I think I've changed, Alison.
What are the
I hate
eyes
to
she's
disappoint
giving?
you.
Are the eyes?
The eyes are like, I have to clean up plenty of shit. I think it's the eyes.
Wait, she's giving you eyes like you're messy or like you're
Like I'm
fastidious?
Laura, am I messy or am I in the middle or am I like super fastidious about cleaning?
I think you're in the middle.
She says in the middle. I think I'm in the middle.
You take initiative on cleaning.
I take initiative on cleaning, she says.
That's nice.
That is nice.
That's a nice thing to do.
I mean, I think she should read this article and see how far you've fallen. Because if I recall, you talked about how it's like clutter is a scourge and it's a constant thing, and like you got to stay on top of it, and it comes in and out, and your mom taught you to be like really proactive, and it was a whole thing.
I thought
and as a messy person, I was like, oh wow.
My remembrance of that article, and I was so honored because it was the Village Voice ran this thing every week where it was just like apartment of the month, and somehow I got in.
Oh yeah.
It was because I was fighting with the Greek restaurant that I lived above because they were playing bouzouki music every night, and I just used to yell at them, and we had it all out, and I don't know, there's lots of threats and lawsuits and all sorts of fun stuff. To me, that's what I remember from it, and it's now a bagel store, so I'm fine.
And they play different
won.
music now.
It's
Klezmer.
mostly it's mostly 90s hip hop. So I'm good.
Are you still in that same place in Queens?
I've been in the same apartment since 1997.
Whoa.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm old.
But even
Like everybody just shut up and was like, yep, he's old.
I don't think it's just an age thing though, because I think
But I'm old too and have moved around a lot.
yeah. You're steady.
I'm steady. It's a really it's
Or
not
are
like
you rent controlled?
I'm not rent controlled. It's not a particularly like fancy place. It's Queens. It was built, with the cheaper end materials, and it can use a lot of updating at this point. But when I first got it, the landlord was just super friendly and nice, and he was happy to have me. And it was a store. I live in Astoria. And it was kind of it hadn't yet been completely gentrified. So I was of the first wave of like these college kids coming in looking for cheaper rent. And the landlord's just a delightful man, who I can't say enough. Like I have the nicest landlord in New York City, where he literally said to me once, just like, I don't want to charge you too much because I want you to one day buy a house of your own.
That's
like
beautiful.
He's a beautiful man.
He wins the nicest landlord competition by miles over every landlord I've ever heard of.
Wow, that's so nice.
He's like, I want to do a documentary. He's like a great human. His whole business is chicken restaurants. He has rotisserie chicken in Astoria. And I live above one of his chicken restaurants, and he has like 5 or 6 of them now, and the whole family runs them, and like his daughter and his uncle and his brother. Like he's just like a good guy who ran a solid business. And you know what? You know how I know he's a good guy? The people who like slice up the chicken and work in the restaurant, they've been there 10 years, 15 years. Like who works in like kind of a fast food style place for that long unless your guy's taking care of you? So,
right.
So 1997 I moved in, and it's 2020. I don't know. What's the math on that?
25 years.
25 years. Yeah.
That's so nice. Josh, what's your landlord like? Or do you guys own?
We don't own. Our landlord is fine. Totally nice. They take care of what we need done. He's never given me a break on rent because he wants my future to be brighter. But I've definitely had worse landlords before, for sure. He's like totally reasonable. I feel like he's fair, which is more than you can ask from most New York City landlords.
Yeah. I'm trying to think about my New York. I'm trying to recall my New York landlords. My first landlord was just like it was called like Pan Am Properties or something.
You lived on an airplane.
I lived on an airplane. They went out of business. Mm-hmm. Because it was just like a big building. So it was just like a monolithic corporation that just sent you, an invoice every month.
Yeah.
And then my second one was a smaller management company. But there was a super who lived in the building who was nice. And then my third was a family. And that was more personal. So I liked them. But yeah. But no, I've never had a guy who owns chicken restaurants and is invested in my future.
He really cares about me.
That's so nice.
I think my landlord wants my present to be okay, and that's not bad. That's like
good.
better than most. Yeah,
That's above the bell curve in New York
absolutely. I feel like most landlords, a dream tenant is someone who signs the lease and then perishes immediately.
Right.
Yeah.
Tony,
It just keeps coming out of their account.
how's your landlord?
Pretty much about the same as Josh. It sounds like pretty fine. Like takes care of things when they need to get taken care of. She lives close by. I think finally since COVID, like she doesn't just like pop by like she used to sometimes, which I'm glad for that. I could do without that sometimes, but she's perfectly
Yeah.
nice. Nothing against her. I just don't need her to come by.
So something I've been thinking about lately, I feel like we've probably all had the experience where there's something that you're debating doing, and you're tired, or I don't know, for whatever reason, you feel like you should push yourself to go, but you don't really want to, and you could easily not. And then you make yourself go. And then afterwards, you're so happy that you went because you saw all these people, or you pushed yourself out of your comfort zone, or whatever it was. I can think of so many things like that. However, recently there's a couple things where I just really didn't want to go. I was tired. I felt like I had work to do. There's all these reasons that I didn't really want to go, but I pushed myself to go. And then afterwards, I was like, I could have so easily not gone. It turned out that I didn't need to go. I would have rather not gone. And this is, I feel like, the first time I've had that experience. And now I'm like, and I realize I'm being very vague and I can go into more detail, but I really do think this is the first time that I've had the experience of like, I was sure that if I pushed myself to go, on the other side of it, I was going to be oh so happy that I've done that. But now that I was like, I really didn't need to go and I wish I hadn't gone, I'm like, now I don't know how to make any decision in the future. In general, what's your like batting average?
Are you talking about going to the bathroom? I can't. I'm just trying to sort
I
the
never
mystery.
regret going to the bathroom.
Really?
No, not going to the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, I've got one. One as an adult that I regret. But other than that, I feel like I never regret getting up and going to a bathroom.
Yeah.
Wait, sometimes you do regret going to the bathroom?
No, I was just joking about one time
Okay.
I got really sick and shit my pants.
Really? I do feel like we're going to have to take a break and talk about that.
We don't have to take a break. We can talk about it anytime you want.
No, this is the break. I mean, we're going to have to take a break from
Oh, and then-
my unwieldy topic to talk
I'm so
about you
sorry.
shitting your pants.
Oh, I mean, I was just sick, and it was the day after Thanksgiving, and I was like, oh man, everyone must have food. Not this year. This is like 5-6 years ago.
Sure.
I was like, everyone must have food poisoning because I feel so lousy, and I had gone home early because I had to go to Boston to see my family. I was with my in-laws, and I was like, oh, I hope they're not all sick. And I was throwing up, and I threw up so hard I shit my pants. And
Gross.
yeah, it
But
was
you
really
but you
gross.
didn't actually make it to the bathroom.
I was in the bathroom,
Oh,
but I like
okay.
threw up in the toilet and threw up so hard that I didn't have two
I've done
toilets
that
kind of
also.
facing each other.
You need 2 toilets, man. That's
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm doing well. I'm not doing that well. Two
Yeah, you don't have
face-to-face
You're not
Toilet.
you're not 2 toilet rich, dude.
Not too toilet rich. We've got
I-
2 toilets, not to brag, but they're in different rooms, like peasants.
Oh, you gotta like aim the vomit. You got a projectile.
Oh yeah, it's got corners and everything. It'd be a bad scene.
You gotta do a bank shot. I have had a similar thing, but it was when I think it was when I was a kid. Thank God I haven't been that sick since I was a kid. But I remember sitting on the toilet and being like, "Uh oh, I'm gonna throw up at the same time," and then I think, like leaning over into the bathtub. This is a colorful show.
We had a high school teacher and coach who called that 2 eggs, no waiting. Unclear why he brought that up in school, but
Right.
that's what he called it.
Was he your bathroom coach?
He was my bathroom coach. I was varsity bathroom in high school.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I've realized the common denominator, and Daniel, I want to know your thought on this. The common denominator of the outings that it turns out we didn't need to push ourselves involve kids.
Mm-hmm.
When it's something where we're taking where I'm like, we really should make ourselves go to that thing, and we're taking the kids on the other side of it, I feel like, oh, that actually was really draining, and maybe we didn't have to go. I'm thinking of like the camping trip we took them on. I was like, I don't camp, but we should go. We're going to make wonderful memories, and we'll be part of this school community. And then afterwards, I was like, this was really uncomfortable, and I don't feel like we actually, yeah. And then I got sick, so we didn't need to go camping.
The times that you're remembering when you pushed yourself to go and it was a rewarding experience were times when that was an experience for you. Mm-hmm. These things that you're talking about now, they're not necessarily meant to be enjoyed by us. They're not for our sake. They're for the kids' sake.
You're right.
And the point was not for Alison Rosen.
Oh, that's her show, though.
It was for the boys to have a memorable experience.
Did they have a good experience?
I don't know.
I think they did.
Show.
On their show.
They had a great time.
They invited me on their show, but I told them that I saw it as direct competition to yours, and I declined
Thank you.
ruthlessly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I did have an exclusive on you.
Yes,
you're right.
You're in the part of your life now, Alison,
Ugh.
where, unfortunately, it's not about your experience.
You're right. You're right. But in this most recent outing, they could have still gone, and I could have just stayed home.
I could have taken them, and you could have stayed home.
Yes.
And they're not taking the bus.
Got a little work done.
They're 5 and 3. They're not like going to take an Uber. So no. So
it's a fair point.
Sorry to make it real.
No, but I feel like that is a good rubric, though. I feel like if you're pushing yourself because someone else wants you to do something, I think you're coming at it from like a point of view where it takes a little more work to get over that hump of having a good time, right? Even if it's not your kids, if you're just like, oh, I should go to my friend's birthday party at this loud bar that I hate, and everyone, and you just have to like commit more to enjoying it, or like it has to be more of a surprise. Right. But if you're like, oh, I really wanted to do this thing and I'm tired, but I'm going to commit to do this thing that I know I'll like, it's an easy, I know I'm not saying anything, advanced, but it is, I don't think it's just kids. Like if it's like friends, I'm still like, ugh, this is going to stink. We're going to this restaurant that's overrated and expensive, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's as close as I have to children, as friends with expensive taste.
Well, I mean, it's really kind of the same.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is. Real quick, I want to tell you guys about Manscaped. Santa baby, it must be a holiday miracle because the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped, are stuffing your stockings with everything the man in your life could ask for. This holiday season, Manscaped has vowed to make sure his ornaments I get it, are shining bright and his tree is standing tall. Spice up his stocking with gifts he'll actually use and something you can enjoy too. If you don't believe in Santa, you better believe in this. They've changed 7 million men for the better. Get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with code BESTFRIEND. Manscaped's best-selling product is the Performance Package 4.0, which is at the top of every man's wish list this year. Inside, you'll find their lawnmower body trimmer, the, dare I say, best trimmer on the market for his balls, back, chest, list goes on, and the Weed Whacker ear and nose trimmer. And ladies, trust me, he will thank you. Now, these are the picks for the Manscaped Surefire Win stocking stuffers, the Manscaped Ultra Smooth Kit, the Manscaped Signature Body Wash 2-in-1 shampoo, the Shears 2.0 Luxury 4-piece nail kit, Manscaped's new Persevere cologne. And these formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, and paraben-free. So all their stuff is really good. Get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code BESTFRIEND. Cheers to rocking the best gifts all this season. A gift for him, but really a gift for you too. XOXO Manscaped. So Josh Gondelman, what's been new with you lately?
Oh my gosh, I've been doing just a lot of fucking around. It's been great. I've been on tour doing a lot of stand-up, which has been really fun. And I have turned over the whole, I had a special that came out this summer and I've turned over the whole set since that was recorded, which is really fun and exciting. And then I've been working on little freelance writing projects and figuring out where I land next as a job. But in the meantime, I've started a little newsletter of pep talks, which I've done on Twitter for a long time, but I write them every week. I'll take requests from readers and then I'll do it for people in the news or who don't ask and probably wouldn't like them. And then, so I've been doing a lot of just I wrote a little piece for McSweeney's called How to Hate a Jew Like a Jew. And people mostly took that the right way. My dad liked it, which was nice. I thought that was very sweet. So yeah, I've just been really, because Jesus and Marrow ended this summer. And then I had a little part-time gig that I don't know if I can talk about yet. It's something that's coming out next year that I'm very excited about. And then I've just been the last couple months really freelance, and I've really loved getting to tour more and do more stand-up and travel. It's been awesome.
That's awesome. So yeah, you guys both worked for late night and you're both currently not. Do you miss it?
I miss the paycheck.
My thoughts precisely.
Of course I miss it. Having a long time gig like that gives you a lot of purpose and friendships and colleagues and all that fun stuff. And it's important. And I miss a lot about it. But at the same time, I'm fine not covering current events and politics for a minute. That's fine. I'm good with that.
That part I don't miss. I'm not ooh, I wish I was working on a TV show that had to deal with this horrible reality right now. And I like the work, but that's not the part I miss the most. I loved my team that I worked with at Jesus and Marrow was awesome. And it was really fun to make something and collaborate. But the part I missed the least, I think, is the well, Roe v. Wade got overturned, so guess we gotta make some jokes by 2 hours from now. And it's I just want to feel queasy and mad.
Yeah.
When your show was also canceled this summer, how did you find out?
So I got a heads up from our showrunner because it kind of happened abruptly.
Yeah.
And I got a heads up from our showrunner, and then there was a simultaneous basically network announcement and intra-show announcement a couple of hours later. It happened that fast. What about you all?
We were I wonder when we're going to get canceled for a while. Internally, it was just because we were part of the Warner Media,
right.
Red Wedding,
where they were oh, we don't do TV shows anymore.
Yeah. Oh, you're on TBS. No, literally they canceled everything on TBS except for us and American Dad. And we're well, one of us doesn't belong here, apparently. Because if you read Twitter, whenever our show was on, it was just oh, God damn it. Why isn't American Dad on? Who is this bitch?
They should have rebranded. Sam should have rebranded. Samantha Bee should have rebranded as Canadian Mom.
Oh, that would have been so good. And they would have hated it just as much. So it was just it became all of our executives eventually kind of got shit canned, which is really sad. And the merger just squeezed everybody out. And so we were just all right, I mean, our time's probably up. So I just got a call from Sam. She was well, it's bad news. I was oh, really? She's yep. And it's worse than you think. Cause we wanted to do a final episode or something.
Sure. Because we were both in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Your show and our show as well.
Yeah, we were just on like hiatus, and the last show we recorded, Sam had just gotten COVID, and I had gotten COVID a week or so earlier. So we went back to I literally recorded a show. It was just me and her, which was kind of sweet in a way. It was just literally me on an iPhone with like a teleprompter in her backyard.
Wow.
And that was our last show. That was
Yeah.
it. And it was just it was like it would have been nice to say goodbye. That would be my one regret. But I go back to just like I am very happy to not be talking about the Republican Party and how fucking anti-Semitic and racist and shitty they are. Mm-hmm. I'm good with that for now.
It's nice to have a break from that because you've been you even longer than I have worked in that field consistently for years.
Yeah,
and it's not. I don't want to make it sound like we're digging ditches, but it is like it is like an intellectually and psychically numbing labor,
taxing,
or
though.
it's just a constant open psychic wound.
I was frankly ready. I mean, I left the Daily Show right before John did, and I was done. I was like, I'm good. I'm at peace with leaving a really, really wonderful opportunity and just trying some new stuff. And then Sam's like, "You want to do a show with me?" And I love Sam so much. I was like, "Fine, yes, I'll do more of this stuff." And then it was great. And then it was like really fun. And then it was just like, then Trump won and we were like crying, trying to write jokes like you guys, like everybody was like, how do you write? And then we would set ourselves up like, okay, we're going to do a show about menstruation. Like, let's have, like, we gave ourselves these challenges that were really, really difficult and like high bar, like, let's go to Syria and talk to refugees and make a comedy show. I'm like, holy shit. Like, how do you do this? So it was like a real like high wire act of like emotion and comedy. And, I'm really excited about the other stuff I'm doing right now.
What is the other stuff you're doing now? To the extent you can say.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a lot. I think like Josh, like, I think we're all like in like development land, like everybody who got like kind of let go in this like last cycle, like Hollywood is a mess right now. Everybody is kind of like pitching and developing and like just trying to get somebody's attention. And so
And nobody knows what anything is. Like right when we were signing on, I saw that the HBO Max and Discovery Plus merger, their big ultra streaming service might just be called Max.
It's so bad.
And it's all right, I guess nobody knows anything.
It's just somebody had tweeted, I forget who it was, like, I think like taking HBO out of your name if you're HBO is really just like, that is not like, that's a sign that something's not going well. Like that's your brand.
Because
that is your entire brand.
HBO is a strong brand as well. It's not like you're like flipping channels and you're like, what's Zort TV? Like, oh, I guess they do reruns of Friends. That's who bought the reruns of Friends. It's all on Zort TV.
It's the Zort network, man.
And
It was
HBO,
Zort.
like everybody knows, like once every 6 months, someone does that prompt tweet of like, what show do you picture right after you hear the HBO static click on? And everybody's like, ooh, I have these really strong identities. I have this really strong identity with this band. This is my favorite show that I watch. The Sopranos. I've rewatched 7 times. Or like, God, I'm so obsessed with White Lotus or whatever. And to just be like, oh, what's your favorite Max show? And you're like, Cinemax. Like which Max?
Who is Max?
Max von Sydow? Like who are we talking about?
So yeah, it's the everything's getting a little bit reorganized, but I'm like, for me, I'm like, I like having this time to like, I've got like a feature script and 3 different shows and a live special I want to work on. Like there's a lot of different little projects here and there that I have cooking and in various states of development that I'm super excited to have the time and the bandwidth to write. And then in the meantime, I took a job teaching skiing in Vermont.
Whoa, that rules. Hell yeah.
I am now a part-time ski instructor in Vermont.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I'm living the dream. I'm riding and skiing and having
That's
having a blast.
incredible.
Yeah.
Do you guys
This is
pay? Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say this is like the nice version of The Shining. It's like how it was supposed
so far
to go.
It is.
It's true. Yeah, no, this is exactly right. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to like do a little workout and go skiing and do some writing and not drink too much. Yeah.
No elevators full of blood or whatever.
No. That's the bathtub, but that's another.
Sure. We're not all good at shaving.
Do you guys, or immediately when your shows were canceled, did you pay less attention to the news?
No.
Not at all.
I'm so addicted. 16 years of this shit. I'm so addicted to reading everything and anything.
I'm still in, but I'm doing a little better job of letting go of the like optional controversies. Like there's someone that everyone's mad at on Twitter, and I'm like, I don't have to know about this necessarily. I don't have to know who like
The Try
Grass
Guys.
Dude is. Yeah, right. I don't have to like know the names of the Try Guys. It's no offense to the surviving Try Guys.
While skiing a couple of days ago, I fried my phone with too much water. I had to ski in the rain. Which is just one of the hard things about my new job, guys. And
The work you do,
Yeah.
I don't want to butter you up too much. It's so important.
Hero.
rich people need to learn how to ski.
They're out there. I'm at 7:00 every day. I go out and bang a pot for you.
You know what? And I deserve it. I'd say you're welcome, but I know my phone conked out, and I'm going to make a point, and I didn't have like internet for like a day, and I was like jonesing and like fidgeting, and then like I got like back on, and I just heard something on the TV. I heard something on the news. It was just like Trump said he wants to suspend the Constitution. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and I didn't have my phone, and I really, really wanted to see, but I didn't. And I think it's a learning lesson of just like it doesn't matter because today
It doesn't matter.
No one cares about it. No one cares.
Anytime there's a post that's imported from Truth Social, I know he was the president, but I'm still like, this matters a little less, right?
Yeah. So, yeah, we can all do with a little less. And maybe it's good that Elon is blowing up Twitter because I find myself reading it less and less. Like, it's just, who cares? I don't need to, okay, yes, things are terrible and you're all terrible and let's just get on with our day.
Have you guys had any luck? Anyone here had any luck with any of the other social media networks, though? Because when everyone was like ringing their, well, wait, Miles, didn't you announce that you're getting off of Twitter?
No.
Okay.
Same.
No, I didn't either. Yeah.
Nope,
I
so on.
respect the people who announced that they did. I'm like, wow, I wish I have likened it to as if I were like Elliot. That's my 5-year-old. If I were like, Elliot, we've had a good run, but goodbye forever. Like I can't turn my back on something I care. I can't just say goodbye. And that is my addiction to Twitter. I can't just walk away. It'd be like walking away from my child. In case anyone didn't get it.
When it was like a couple weeks ago where it was just like they're like everyone's locked out of the building and the thing's going to crash tonight. Like I was so excited to be on watching it burn.
Yeah.
Like, I was like the Schadenfreude of it. Like
It had a real. Oh, I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it had a very like Y2K feeling to me.
Yes.
Like,
which
is it
also
gonna
nothing.
happen?
Yeah. But right. My prediction is like nothing's really going to change that much. It's just going to take a dip and then probably come back. But so I was like, this is good. Like I spend too much time here anyway. So if I get forced out, that's actually good. And now though, I'm like just on 5 more, and now I just have more shit to check.
Are you
and
on
it's
Mastodon and Hive?
I am.
Okay.
How
do you enjoy them?
I don't enjoy them. I think Hive.
So it is a good substitute for Twitter then.
Now I'm just not enjoying more things. For a few days, I was like, now I just have to check more. This is worse. It's like if I got on Suboxone and like it was ruining my life more. But now it's not though. Now I'm just like ignoring them. But
You know what I did? I went on LinkedIn and just said yes to every invitation. That's my new thing. Just everybody who wants to, any listeners here, just go on LinkedIn, find me. I will say yes. We can connect. Absolutely. Let's talk.
LinkedIn culture is wild.
Yeah.
maybe that's
I'm
where I
deep in
gotta go. Listen, you guys, I want to tell you that I'm
excited.
I want to tell you that this show is sponsored by BetterHelp. And this holiday season, do something special for a person in your life. You. Give yourself a gift to raise your spirits and not just for the day. The holidays can be a really tough time between managing family dynamics, racing from thing to thing, and braving the cold and dark weather, perhaps going out there and teaching skiing in the rain. It's normal to feel down. Having someone to talk to about how you're feeling and what you can do about it is truly a gift. I'm talking about therapy and I'm talking about BetterHelp. If you guys have listened to me for a minute or you've listened to me for years, then you know that I am a huge believer in therapy for me and for anyone who's open to it. Really, it helps me immensely. I go every single week. I do it online. As the world's largest therapy service, BetterHelp has matched 3 million people with professionally licensed and vetted therapists 100% online. Plus, it's affordable. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to match with a therapist. If things aren't clicking, you can easily switch to a new therapist anytime. It couldn't be simpler. No waiting rooms, no traffic, no endless searching for the right therapist. Learn more and save 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/bestfriend. That's BetterHelp, BetterHelp.com/bestfriend. And I also want to talk to you guys about Real Paper. Sustainability and climate change can be a tricky topic for people of all ages, but it can be particularly challenging to talk about with kids. And that's why I love Real Paper and their new limited edition box. Real makes a soft and strong 100% bamboo toilet paper, never cutting down trees, unlike most traditional toilet paper brands. And Real recently launched the Little Lemurs box, which is a 24-pack of their bamboo toilet paper that comes with a beautifully illustrated kids book that tells an exciting story of sustainability. I've already read it to Elliot. It's really cute. The box was designed to spark creativity in kids and create a small opportunity to talk about things like deforestation and plastic pollution, but in a light and easy way with your kids. And with the holidays here, the book could make a great gift for a little one on your list. Real Paper's Little Lemurs box and all the other products are available in easy, hassle-free subscriptions or for one-time purchases on their website. All orders are conveniently delivered to your door with free shipping and 100% recyclable, plastic-free packaging. If you head to realpaper.com, that's REELPAPER.com/lemur and sign up for a subscription using my code BESTFRIEND at checkout, you'll automatically get 30% off your first order and free shipping. Let Real help you with your stocking stuffers and holiday gift giving. That's realpaper.com/lemur and enter code BESTFRIEND to get 30% off your first order plus free shipping. Again, Real Paper, REELPAPER.com/lemur and enter promo code BESTFRIEND to get 30% off your first order plus free shipping. Okay. So I wanted to go into a story of the way that Miles and I met, and
Oh boy.
we have clearance from spouses.
Wow.
That's right. Miles and I met on OkCupid, and which was, or is OkCupid is still around, right? This is an online
think
dating
so.
thing. Is it not? Miles is shaking his head.
I have no idea.
Of course you don't. No, I believe you. I believe you.
Why would I know?
Yeah. Okay.
I know.
Guys, my wife is in the room.
I know Ashley Madison had their troubles.
Yeah. Look, I got out of the online dating world before all the apps. So like Tinder and Bumble and
Same.
all those. Did you say same?
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
I didn't know if you said same or damn.
Damn.
Damn. Right. So this was like a actual website. But so I have my memory of things. And then Miles, said to you, is this something we can talk about? And you said yes. And then you said, was I horrible or was I miserable to you? And I said, no, not at all. And then you said, like, we could hash it out live. But I have to, and you were not, and we'll get into it. But I have to ask, why did you think you might have been? Do you have a memory of having been miserable to people?
No, I wondered if this was a trap and you were gonna bring up something I did that was awful that I just didn't realize because I'm a dumb person.
No, not at all. So my memory of things was that we had gone out a couple times. It was super casual. And then you were like, I had a great time, but I feel like we're more like friends. And then I was like, cool. why don't you come on my show and cut my hair? And then we were friends. And then I was like just getting my show off the ground. And I think I said, do you know anyone who would be good on my show? And you recommended Jenna Kim Jones,
JKJ.
who you worked with at Daily Show.
Yes.
And she came on a couple times when I was in New York, or I don't know how many times she came on when I was in New York, but then she moved out to California. And then when I started up the show as a podcast out in California, I was like, oh, she would be good. I should have her on. And then she started coming on like every week for a while. And then I actually just texted her today and I told her you were coming on. She's like, oh, tell him I say hi. And she was so excited. So like my listeners know her very, very well. So that was like a huge gift. And then also you put me in touch. I mean, I think you threw a job my way.
Did
Your
I?
friend.
Oh, I'm
yeah,
good.
Matt.
I'm so nice.
Yeah, you're coming out great.
Wow.
Also, just real quick to put real quick, a lot of people get bangs after a breakup. Most of them don't have the guy that broke up with them cut the hair.
Right.
I think that is like a beautiful bonding moment.
I remember us like, I think we had that conversation just like, wow, you're a really good person. And we just we didn't have any kind of like real like romantic chemistry, right? Didn't we? I think we had that talk.
Okay, well, hang on.
Did we have that talk? I can't remember.
It was an email.
Oh boy. Okay.
So no, you were not. Here's the thing: you
I
were
should
not
have
missing.
thought of that.
Did I write the email? Or did you write the email?
You wrote the email.
Oh man.
Okay, so here's the thing. So what I said was my memory of it. I have to tell you, do not be nervous. You are not miserable to me at all.
Okay.
One person is going to come out of this story not appearing in a one person there's a negative light is going to be shed on one person in this story,
And it could be any of us.
Yeah, I was going to say it's
it could
probably
be Tony.
Josh. Yeah.
It could be Daniel. It could be Josh. It's not going to be you, Miles. So you have nothing to worry about.
Okay. All right.
It might be me. And it also might be Daniel because he's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm the one who ended up marrying this complete psycho loser.
Yeah, I didn't think to do the email thing. That was smart.
Okay.
It's got to be up front, Daniel. He's got to pull the trigger
You
sometimes.
cut her hair, you're out of there.
So what I told you was the way I had always remembered it.
Yeah.
But I've actually mentioned on the show before you because you're part of the story of how Jenna came to be on the show.
Sure.
So, and I think that I had mentioned that I was like, yeah, this, like, I think that I thought, okay, so this is now where it is uncomfortable for me to admit that in my mind, we went on a couple dates and then you sent me an email and I was like, what? But I had fun on those dates. So that was my feeling about it, which please don't feel bad. I'm married to Daniel. I have 2 children. It's all fine.
She's being
It all
punished
worked
enough.
out.
Yeah, it all worked out. What'd you say, Daniel?
Said you're being punished enough.
Yeah, no, it's totally fine.
Taking those kids camping. You could have saved her from all of this.
Man.
Okay, so then when you're like, we can hash it out live, I was like, wait a minute. I'm one of those people who I do not practice inbox 0. I practice inbox like 219,000.
Infinity, yeah.
You save the receipts, is what you're saying.
I was like, I could pull up the emails. So I did, and I was horrified to find
Uh-oh.
I did not just leave it at like, oh yeah, me too. Cool. Let's be friends. I mean, like that was my vibe. That was my tone.
Okay.
But I was a little bit like, while I have you here, could I just inquire a little bit about how you arrived at this decision
You did
to just
an
be
exit
friends
interview?
with me? Yes, I totally did. It is so mortifying. Let's read the emails. I'm crazy.
wow.
Can you?
Let's get in it.
It
Yeah,
totally
let's do
makes
it.
me want to. It's like, oh my God, Daniel, I just want to say I'm so sorry. But I can shed light on it a little bit. I feel like many a woman gets to a point where they're just like, what is it that is like, what is wrong with me? Why is it that a guy meets me and a second later they're like, nope. And I think, and just, I realize I'm letting everyone like, this is good though. I don't think I've ever really talked about this time in my life. Okay. So what happened, Daniel? I'm sorry. This is probably uncomfortable
Fine.
for you.
It's not.
Okay. Okay, good. So there was this guy in California. So my pattern had been being friends, like very, like I had this series of like surrogate relationships with guys where I was like friends with them, but it was like murky and like, were we friends? Were we something more? What were we? And for some reason, those kind of relationships were always like easier for me than actual boyfriend, girlfriend relationships. And I had like maybe it's because I was Big Al. And I don't know if that's Big Al or Big Al. At this point, I was not anymore, but I still identified as that person.
And for the record, I remember thinking, this girl looks fantastic. You look no different today than you did back then. I thought you looked fantastic. So
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
It was just your
Yes.
personality.
Yeah, it was you were miserable to talk to.
Thank you very much. So there was this guy in California that I had hooked up with, and I had, I don't mean sex, but like there had been like a romantic thing between us. And then I like developed feelings for him. And then I went back to New York and then I came back and then it was like a very intense connection that we had. But he just wanted to be friends. Or rather didn't want to have an exclusive romantic relationship. When I say just wanted to be friends, like I think he would have been up for like, something physical, but it like didn't want to be my romantic.
Friends with benefits, if you will.
Yeah, he wasn't saying that's off the table, but he's saying like, I'm not going to be your boyfriend or husband.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, that, okay. I'm cool with that. And also I don't even live in California, but we did have this like undeniable, I'm checking in with Daniel to see how you're feeling.
Oh, I don't care.
He wasn't even listening. Keep going.
This is so long ago. It's so long ago. So I was now living in New York. I can't remember how long had passed between when that was and when this guy came to New York. But I feel like it was quite some time, but I don't know when that torch, like, I don't know that it ever really like went out. So this guy came to New York. We went out to dinner. We're just friends at this point. But like I said, I don't know truly like whether this, like, it's one of those people where like, even if you're not like actively torching for them, like when you're with them, you're sort of like remembering.
Right.
We went to dinner.
It's like no torch, still some scourge.
Yes. So we went to dinner, had like it was the kind of thing where like I knew he was coming over, we're going to go to dinner. And like, I was like excited all day. And then I had this epiphany of like, I know he's coming over, we're going to go to dinner. And it's like 11 a.m. He's not going to be here till 7 p.m. And I'm like so excited. This is a sensation that I'm creating within myself. He's not even here. I should be able to recreate this feeling anytime I want because this is like completely self-generated. Like it felt like a very like deep epiphany of like, shouldn't I just be able to like generate this feeling anytime I want if this feeling is just thought-based? Anyway,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead. I think we have similar questions.
No, I had a terrible joke, so I think yours.
I was just going to ask, like, what did that epiphany set off in terms of like, oh, I'm going to act like this going forward, or I'm going to pursue this going forward?
Just that I should try to memorize what this feeling is. This feeling of like contentment, elation, and wholeness that I'm experiencing alone in my apartment. Nothing in my actual physical environment has changed, but it's because there's something I'm looking forward to. You know what I mean? It's like nothing has changed, and yet my mood is totally different than it was, prior to getting this news. I feel like I should. It's like it's like almost a chemical reaction. Like I should be able to generate this on my own. It's just a thought I had. But anyway, so he and I went to dinner. So I'm really taking the long route on this story. He and I went to dinner that. He and I went to dinner that night.
Hit by a cab on the way to the restaurant.
Yes, and I said I've got to get on OkCupid. No, he and I went to dinner that night, and in an offhand way, I found out that he was hooking up with someone in California. Which, that's how he put it, but like I could tell that like it's more than just hooking. And by the way, to this day, he's, as far as I know, still with that person. So it was more than hooking up, unless it's like really a long-term friends with benefits situation. I suspect it's, so like he had met someone, and that just kind of like crushed me. So I remember going back to my apartment and being like, I've got to like move on. I'm going to get on OkCupid. I'm just going to do something like this. So then got on OkCupid, and then Miles, you contacted me on OkCupid, and you and I were already following each other on Twitter.
Yeah, I probably recognized your picture, and I was like, oh, well, that's convenient. Yeah.
So I think it was like a few days later that we were emailing each other. So anyway, this is a very long way of saying, I think that if my feeling hurt by the perceived rejection was like about a much bigger thing. It was a much bigger thing. It was just a me being like, I am so tired of feeling rejection. So please don't take it personally that I was taking it personally. Okay. Now to the emails. Okay. All right. Okay, so so we went out to one bar, had a fun time. You emailed me and you're like, hey, that was fun. We should do it again sometime. And then I'm going
to make it juicier. Did we make out at the end of the first date? I'm going to make you really uncomfortable too at this, but go ahead.
We did. I think, like not intensely or anything, but
yeah.
Actually now I'm not 100% sure.
All right, I sidetracked it. Keep going.
I'm not 100% sure now, but I think maybe. Oh, hell no. I think maybe. Okay.
I like this kind of hazy gauze of time over this.
I think
this is
so.
beautiful.
Yeah. How you doing, Daniel?
Well, I'm fine.
Okay. It's because he's over me. He's over
Daniel's
all this
planning another camping trip right now.
You gave me the whole speech about being tired of rejection on our first date. So
I did? I don't remember that either. Okay, great.
that is pressure right there.
And then you locked eyes with me, and you're like, "Do not be one of them."
No, I didn't. I didn't. This is not true. By the way, I had quit drinking by the time I met Daniel, so I just don't remember anything that Daniel's talking about because of actual cognitive decline. So anyway.
Ooh la la.
I'm joking. Yeah, and so we went out to a bar because I read emails. Is there a place called like White something on Essex or something? Anyway.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think I went to California. I think there was some time in between. I went to California. You might have gone to Vermont, or you traveled with the show. You met Joe Biden.
Yes.
And then we went to
Back
another
when Joe
bar.
Biden was only 93 years old.
Right.
We went out again and I don't know if I had looked in the emails long enough, I would have found what other bar it was. Okay.
Did we step it up to a dinner then the second night? Did we like drinks and then we did like a dinner?
I think it was a bar that had food. I was like, I feel like but it wasn't intensified. It was more, I want to say it was like a lateral kind of. It was like a lateral date.
Okay.
Okay. So then you said, hey, I had a really nice time drinking with you last night, but I guess the vibe I was feeling was mostly a friendly one. Maybe it was the same way for you. That being said, I totally enjoy hanging with you, and I hope that we continue to do so and maybe at some point work together. I hope you feel the same. The offer to cut your hair live to the interwebs still stands, and I hope you weren't as hungover as I was.
I like that I'm still networking, by the way, during this.
Okay.
I think that's very generous. You're like, we can work together. I'll still cut your hair. I think that's a nice email.
Yeah.
I'm being sincere.
Okay. All right. I'll take it.
So you sent that to me, and I remember my friend Corinne was at my apartment when I got it. We were like watching some show together or something, and she looked over to me and she's like, "What's wrong?" And I was just like, oh, I don't know. And I also remember, just to make this fully pathetic, I remember at some point showing my friend Dustin the email and just being like, what does this mean? You know, and him being like, I think it just means what it says. Because I was just like, what's the angle here? You know, okay, so anyway.
Right.
So then
Guys
I
just
said,
want one thing, and it's to cut your hair on a live stream.
So then I said, hey, I appreciate
That's so easy breezy.
Isn't it?
For the listeners that aren't watching the video stream, Alison did kind of a head shake of like modest attitude.
I appreciate your honesty. Would love to do the haircut thing. Could you do Wednesday's episode? And then you said, it kind of depends if we get blah, 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 blah. Well, it kind of depends if we get this piece on for Thursday or not. If we can't make it, then next week also. Wait, sorry, no, I'm jumping ahead. There's a lot of back and forth about scheduling.
It's getting hot and steamy.
Okay,
Skip that part.
I'm gonna skip the back and forth about scheduling. So then I
Yada yada yada. And then I said, I'm going to murder you.
okay.
Did I talk about the rough cut and what Jon Stewart feedback was for me at the time?
So then there's a question where you say, do you only do the show on Wednesday? I say, I mentioned how I might get a haircut before then. You talk about cutting your hair. Okay.
Really trying to play hard to get.
Yeah, I think I was. Okay,
There's
so
plenty
now
of other chicks that want their haircut around here, baby.
And a lot of mean things about Tim Carvel.
we started this
So goddamn nice.
He's the best. Tim's the greatest.
The conversation started on Sunday evening. Now this is Monday morning. Here's me. This is the second paragraph. By the by, my ego may force me into asking you a question or two about this bedeviling foreign experience.
Is this letters home from the Civil War?
Yeah, this email was written in quill pen.
Dearest Martha.
Of someone managing not
lantern.
to fall head over heels for me.
You started it. You got to finish it.
Science would have a field day! Exclamation point. Bedeviling may not be the right word, but it's like a Fabergé egg of words. I'm hoping Fabergé egg of words was like,
Wait, what part of this is commentary and what part of this is the email?
it's all. That's all the email. My tone of voice is the commentary.
In the email, it says bedeviling might not have been the right word.
But it's like a Fabergé egg of words. Now, I don't know if that's a reference to something or bedeviling Fabergé egg is like a deviled egg joke that I don't know. I don't know what was happening there.
You're just workshopping material in the middle of this.
I think so.
Bedeviling, rarely the right word. I'm never like, I should have said bedeviling.
No.
What's the deal with Fabergé eggs?
You are so wrong. Bedeviling was exactly the right word.
Oh, that's nice. I think
And we would not have this content.
Right. In retrospect.
Yeah, it was all for this
moment.
future
in time.
moment.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you said, or is I have got to get consent every few moments. Is everyone okay with where this is going?
Sure.
No, nobody's okay. Please continue.
Yeah.
No one will ever be the same.
You're reading your own letter, so
Right.
Yeah, I don't know whose consent you need.
You're doing brain surgery on yourself, and you're like, is this cool with everybody?
Well, but it's so uncomfortable for me. I just want to make sure everyone is okay with being
With watching you be uncomfortable, we're good.
Sure. This is a podcast.
Okay. So then, Miles, you said, you are gorgeous and interesting and funny, and all I can say is I have no idea. science, chemistry, and all that, I guess. I'm leaving on the 17th too for Vermont for the rest of the year. Hopefully this piece will get sorted out and we can do it before then. And then I said, oh, God.
Let it lie. Couldn't let it lie.
Oh, it's so awful. Oh. Okay.
Just pull off the Band-Aid. Let's hear it.
Well, I guess my question is, at what point you realized?
Oh, okay. That's not as bad.
It feels bad. It feels bad because it's like, oh my God, lady, just let it go. You went on 1.5 dates with this person. You'd barely know him.
One of the bars had food.
Okay,
But Alison,
we did have 260 emails.
But Alison, has there ever been anything that you've been able to let go?
Yes. In my defense, yes. Every other relationship I had ever been in, I did not do this. So I think it coalesced here.
I mean,
I wanted to, and I sat in therapy doing it, but I did not ever do this with the actual person. So I think I was just like, I am going to try to find out a little bit because, I'm bedeviled.
You sure were. I mean, we're like joking about it, but it is such a natural impulse to be like, I would like more information because I had a good time. And I just like wonder, it like never works, but it's that feeling is always there.
It doesn't ever work.
Oh, if only I had the information that I could triangulate, like, was it me? Was it them? What could I do in the future? What should I look for in the future? So like, I know that it feels very uncomfortable to like read this, but it's like what you're saying. You're not being like, you weren't awful. You were just like clearly like just trying to process this thing.
Yeah. And I actually, I acknowledge. Okay, so I said, well, I guess my question is, at what point you realized, or were you feeling a just friends vibe from the outset? I'm sort of just kicking the tires of my own perceptions here, and I appreciate immensely the chance to do this. So thank you in advance. And I'll talk to you in 11 years on a podcast.
and I can tell you, at this point, I'm reading this thinking like, oh, she's really introspective and curious. Like I wasn't in, I would have never been like mocking you or showing this, but like, look at this chick who's fucking like, I know me at that point in time would have been like, oh yeah, okay, that's a fair question. She's interested in what like, I wouldn't have like been making fun of you secretly behind your back over this now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm making
Just
fun
11
of you
years
now.
later on a podcast.
I agree with Josh. Like, I think the instinct to do this, like, is actually pretty common. Most people probably want to do this and don't. Like, what is it? What was it? What's really cringe is just the way you wrote it. It's very, very cringe.
I think the only thing that I object to is the use of the word bedeviled.
Bedeviled. I know. But like I said, I think in my memory, it was super. And it was very casual. Like, we just met up a couple times. But then when I searched your name in my emails, what I realized is, like, we actually had been, and it all was very casual, but we had been emailing for a while before meeting up. So I think it felt more invested. And I'm like a very big words. I think you are. I mean, we all are very big words people. So it's like, and bedeviled, you know. Anyway, so then you said, I wasn't sure after our first meeting and wanted to check, I suppose. Understand I'm a big chemistry guy to begin with. It makes finding someone to hang out with that much more difficult. In retrospect, I probably should give things a greater chance, but I tend to err on the side of my gut. I've been single for nearly 4 years, so my gut could use some work. And then I said, honestly, friendship is easier for me and takes the pressure off, so it's all good. And then I made a joke.
What a beautiful, honest email exchange.
Yeah, I don't think it's actually really to be that ashamed of.
Yeah,
it bedevils me to why you're feeling it.
Well, I'm a Fabergé egg, so
there's so many one layers.
I think I am feeling that way because I do not have much of a memory of knowing of our don't take this the wrong way. I don't have much of a clear memory of our connection. So in my mind, it's
Why
like,
would you? Yeah.
But in my mind, it's like, Allison, you didn't even know this guy. Why are you interrogating him like this? Like, he told you he just wants to be friends. Like, just accept it. Why are you know what I mean? Like, so it feels like I'm being like a little bit desperate.
Can I say something? Oh, go ahead. This is you.
No,
I'm just talking too much.
I was going to make another dumb joke about how good a catch I was, but I'd like to hear your insight on this because I keep coming up with dumb jokes and you keep having insights.
No. I was just going to say, to let you further off the hook, maybe if you don't remember the vibe, the vibe was like this, right? Like, it was like, oh, this is a person that I can really like have this friendly, sincere conversation with, not like a person where like, why don't you love me? But it's like, hey, just wondering, like, I'm glad that we're going to be friends. And like, as a friend, can we talk through this before we move on to the next part of friendship? Because that does seem like one option, certainly.
And I think I was being very truthful. I think like I was probably a little frustrated, like, oh, here's this cute girl. We have a lot in common. We both kind of dig the same things. It's a good match on paper. It's just not clicking, for whatever reason. I couldn't put my finger on it. And I probably just like, all right, let's go on another date. Let's see what this is. Maybe this is just weirdness. Who knows? So,
right.
But I've been on the other side of where you're at, or where you were at, where it's like the other person just cuts you off and you're like, what the fuck I thought things were good. What did I do? And you have to learn, at least that's what I did later on, was just like, you'll never know. It's like not getting a part in an audition as an actor. It's like, it doesn't mean you're a bad actor. You just, that it wasn't what they were looking for. Who the fuck knows what their deal is? It doesn't matter. Move on.
Right. I feel like that would happen. That's like the downside of online dating, is that it can on paper match up so well. Mm-hmm. And then, I don't know. So how did you end up meeting your wife?
Okay, Cupid.
For real?
For real.
Oh, wow.
It all comes full circle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So when do you, what were the email? I can't even remember the year.
2009.
2009.
When these emails were.
When those emails were. So yeah, no. Okay. So yeah, I had was engaged, before I met you, very briefly, to a person who cheated on me, and it was a very messy, terrible relationship and all that. And we obviously did not get married. And so, yeah, I was like not dating at all. And then I started dating, and then I got very picky and very like thinky. And that's probably what you received from me. And then, I went on dates forever after that, and just exhausted online dating. And it's a terrible world. And I don't know what people do now who go out and date, and the Bumbles and all the apps and stuff like that. Seems like even more of a minefield. And so, I saw this girl on OkCupid, and she looked cute enough, and so she's kind of cute girl, and let's go out. And she seemed kind of interested. We exchanged a couple emails, and my thinking going into the date was, this is my last date for a long time. I'm just going to humor myself, just do one more, because I was ending them. Like I gave you 2 dates. I was ending them that like within 2 hours. I was just like, nope, this ain't going to work. I'll see you later. Like, my patience had grown thin, and I met this person. And we just started talking and talking and talking, and I kind of liked her. I just like, there's something about her that was different than anyone else I'd ever met on any of these terrible dates. And later she tells me the same exact story. She had exhausted herself after dating and dating and dating and all these terrible people, and this was her last date. She's like, that's it. I'm taking a break after this. It was we both reached the end of the line.
Oh,
we were
that's
both
so
exhausted with the world and with the opposite sex and romance and all that bullshit. And you know, we just slowly grew over time, in a much different kind of relationship than when you're in your 20s. We were a little bit older. We were in our 30s. And it grew in a much different way. I was like, and I was determined not to do what at least I was doing at the time, which was, you know, usually one, if not 2 dates in, you're in bed with that person. And I was so determined. I was like, I'm not going to do, I'm going to do I pulled the Costanza in that episode where he does the opposite. And I was like, I'm going to do the opposite.
Oh yeah.
And to the point where I think I was on third or fourth date. My wife always tells this story where it's like, I think she'd come over. she had come over and we had takeout sushi. We had this really nice time. We still hadn't had sex, so maybe it was like fourth date or whatever like that. I was like, well, I got to go to work tomorrow. And it was like, I was purposely just like really stretching it out, just really like waiting for the moment to happen. And apparently she went home and she cried and she's like, what did I do wrong? And I feel so bad about it now. I was like, okay, I waited a little too long. But yeah, I mean, eventually you met your partner, I met mine, and Josh has cocaine. So I think it all worked out.
All right.
Damn.
Oh, that's very sweet.
That's a great story.
Yeah. She's the best.
And how long have you been together now?
How long have we been together? We've been together a little over 10 years. We were married 4 years ago, October.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's awesome.
I think we have time to either do Just Me or Everyone or Hey, Go Fuck Yourself. Would you guys rather see if you're alone in your thoughts or tell someone to get fucked? What are you feeling? It's Josh. I'm looking at you. You can't tell Josh. Which would you rather do?
Eye contact is tough with Zoom.
I know. You can't tell at all. Or Miles, what do you feel?
I got nothing. I don't know how this works, so I kind of want to go second.
Let's do the one where you give us the prompt. The Just Me or is the Just Me or Everyone we do it, or it's you have someone wrote in?
Oh, well, I mean, you would. I have some, but it's better if you provide them. Do you have one of your own? Yeah.
Okay. Let me.
I got a Hey, Go Fuck Yourself.
Oh, you do? Okay. Let's hear your Hey, Go Fuck Yourself then.
All right. This was last week. I'm driving to the hardware store and driving through a light that where the person coming the opposite direction, when they turn left, they go into a parking lot kind of situation. And so I'm driving through. I have the green, and car coming the other way decides to turn left in front of me. Okay. A little bit close enough to me where I have to slow down, and they slow down, and the guy looks at me and gives me this, flips me the bird, like really aggressively, like fuck you, like this. And I literally had done nothing but slow down, and he was in the parking lot he was going into was a gun store. And so my Hey, Go Fuck Yourself is to American gun laws that made for this fucking guy just got himself a gun. And I was thinking about that all day, just like, God damn, that aggro motherfucker just bought himself a gun. Thank God.
He was already going for a gun. He bought himself 2 guns.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not going to lie. I checked the news that day.
Sure.
So,
Hey,
American gun laws.
go fuck yourself.
Okay, I've got one.
All right.
It's not for a person.
Okay.
It's for my shower in my home.
Love it.
It takes for the last month or so, regardless of the temperature outside, it takes about 10 minutes for my shower to heat up. And that's time that I resent, because once you're nude or betoweled, you're not getting anything done. You're just kind of waiting by the shower, anxious for it, because you're not, you don't make plans. You're not like, oh, I'll put on the towel, I'll start the shower, I'll make an egg sandwich, I'll let it cool down, I'll shower, come out and eat the sandwich. It's like it's just very frustrating. We talked to our landlord, who's very nice, as we've established before, totally reasonable, helpful guy. And he was like, why don't you try turning on the water, the bathtub first for a little while, run that, because that heats up faster, and then turn that off, run the shower. And apparently my wife tried it. That works, which makes me even more mad for some reason. Where I'm like, I don't want to do tricks. I just want my shower to work. So, not the landlord. He did nothing wrong. Hey, go fuck yourself. My shower.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Mine is a little bit more esoteric and maybe a little inside baseball Hollywood, but I'm going to go for it anyway. My go fuck yourself is to intellectual property, or as they call it in Hollywood, IP. or as they say in Hollywood, you got any hot IP? So for those who don't know what intellectual property is, very quickly, it is a book or an existing property or a New Yorker article or like, Reese Witherspoon's book club has a true crime thing that they like. So it's all of these things make up intellectual property, something that existed that gets turned into a TV show or a movie. So, one time, and this is the hot thing. If you were in Hollywood, they say you gotta have IP, you gotta have IP, you gotta have IP. They don't want to hear any original stories, despite the fact that everything that wins awards are original stories. Anyway, I was thinking about this the other day. I used to have, an agent who, loved, a script that I wrote. It was the first time they read it. It was a spec script. So this is really great. It's got a lot of great characters, really original story. What's it based on? They asked me. I said, well, I wrote it. It's based on some idea I had in my head. And they said, oh, okay. Can you find some IP to base it on?
Oh my God.
They wanted me to and so I've told the story to other writers. Josh said, yeah, because he's probably heard the same story. It is not unusual for people to come up with an original idea and then have to find an article in the New Yorker to justify its existence, or to make a podcast about that thing,
write
and
it
then
as
buy your own
book.
Yeah,
right.
Write
it as a book so that you can adapt the book into a movie, and not even contingent on the book's success, merely its existence.
Its existence. They just want to know it exists in another form. So the TV executive who greenlights it, when it fails, if it fails, then go, well, I mean, it was a book. People seem to like the book, so it's not my fault that nobody watched it. So my fuck yourself is to intellectual property. It doesn't matter.
Hey, go fuck yourself.
Thank you. Thank you for my
That was
insight.
wonderful.
Cosign. Hard cosign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, it's funny how much of this industry it runs on just people not wanting to be blamed for failure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's the engine that drives everything.
I had a terrible idea for a show that I'll never make. That if anyone wants to take it, they're free to have it. But it was about intellectual property. It's about someone like in our industry who wants to sell a show, but they can't because they need something original. So they hire someone to commit crimes for them, to commit murders, so they could write a book about their murders, and then make it into a TV show.
That's very funny.
Yeah. It was a little dark, and no one would ever buy it because it doesn't exist.
Right. You would need someone to. Yeah, you would. Yep. Blood on your hands.
It's just turtles all the way down.
You guys, this has been so delightful. Thank you for taking this trip through my mind, and for coming on the show. And listeners, thank you for listening. If you like what you're hearing, or even if you don't, please make sure you're subscribed. Leave us a nice review. Click 5 stars wherever you're listening. Excuse me. I read the reviews on the show. And also, I almost forgot, that is no good. I would like to say hello and thank you to our new patrons.
Alison wants to say thank you to a couple of special people out there who signed up to be new patrons. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen.
Thank you, Tony. I would like to say hello and welcome to Chindy, Chelsea Burns, Megan, Linda White, Michael C., who is at the annual level, Sarah, and Daniel Schweitz. Hello, welcome. I hope you are enjoying all of the rewards. Patreon.com/Alison Rosen. Subscribe for a year. So do an annual subscription, get 2 months free. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Follow me on social media at Alison Rosen. I'm on all of them. If once one pops up, I'm on there. And then also listen to my other podcasts, Childish and Upworthy Weekly. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Alison Rosen. I feel like that's it. I'm on Cameo. I feel like that's everything. Okay, Josh Gondelman, where might we find you? What should we look out for?
I'm at Josh Gondelman, Gondel man, at Twitter and Instagram and TikTok. I post some stand-up stuff. JoshGondelman.com for tour dates. I've got Minneapolis, Chicago, Milwaukee, Toronto, Salt Lake City coming up in the next month and a half. And then I have the newsletter, joshgondelman.substack.com. The newsletter is called That's Marvelous, and it's pep talks just once a week. And that's where you can also find all my other stuff I put in the newsletter too.
Lovely. And Miles, what about you? Would you like to plug anything?
Sure, you could find me on what's left of Twitter at Miles Kahn. You could look at some of my work on milescahn.com. And if anyone in Hollywood is listening, I have optioned actually a book that's really interesting that I think would make a great series based on my life story, and an article that I read in Vox.com. So hit me up for that if you want to hear more. And just find me on LinkedIn. I'm there. I will be your friend on LinkedIn.
And it's Kahn. Right?
Yes, MILES
Wonderful. Daniel, what about you?
Oh, you can follow me at Daniel Quantz on Instagram and Twitter if you're still hanging out there. I'm still tweeting sometimes, I guess. I don't know. Who knows what's happening?
Great.
Nobody knows. No one knows.
And Tony, what about you?
Twitter and Instagram at
Tony Thaxton.
and Bizarre Albums every Tuesday. And if you're in the LA area, I'm going to be playing once again with Jonah Ray at the Troubadour this Sunday, the 11th. So yeah, come on out to that if you're around LA. Allison won't be there. That's a guarantee.
You never know.
Oh, I know.
Sometimes,
I'm starting to do more stuff. I'm going to make it out. I mean, I didn't even listen to the date, but you never know. What
her
date
kids
did you
are
say?
big fans, so she will not be attending.
What day did you say?
This Sunday, the 11th.
Oh, yeah. No, I won't be there. But you never know if it were a different day. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much. This was so much fun. Listeners, thank you for listening. I love you. You matter. Goodbye.
Hey, do you know about the Alison Rosen Show?